Hello everyone, we're gonna start with conference number 17, the 3 factors for the revolution of the conscience. This conference explains the 3 basic principles with which we are going to do the job of awakening our conscience. It's going to be first of all the spiritual birth, second psychological death, and third the sacrifice for humanity. So we're going to explain the spiritual birth. That is the sexual union between man and woman with the purpose of ascending the energy Kundalini, that is our sexual creative energy. It's gonna be done with the 3 basic principles of fidelity, having a stable couple of our opposite sex, our husband or wife. We need to value the couple because with that person we're going to discover and create love. The chastity, compromising with our divine mother not to spill the sexual creative energy in the orgasm or ejaculation, because with that energy we are going to create the superior existential bodies for our being. So that energy is going to be directed all along our spinal cord to the superior centers that are our pituitary gland and our pineal gland, and the love that is going to be the result of that process. So the creation of the superior existential bodies, it's that we are going to create different vehicles for getting to know the superior dimensions of nature. We not only have a physical body, but we have also a vital body, an astral body, a mental body, an atmic and a buddhic body. So we need to manufacture them with our sexual creative energy in this process. The place in which we are going to do the practice, it's going to be a really sacred place, an altar that is going to be the nuptial bed or shrine of the couple, in which we are going to be united with our couple in the sexual practice. It's going to be a place that it has to be really clean, really neat. There cannot be any more people sleeping in the same place. It has to be really a private place for you to have the concentration necessary. Also, we are going to do an energetical enclosure, that is the conjuration of Belladin and magic circle. This is going to enclose the place to avoid any negative energy for distracting the practice. Then we are going to plead to our Divine Mother and Divine Father, that are our spiritual principles of wisdom and love, to guide and direct the practice in order to have our conscience centered in the action that we are doing, not to be distracted. Then we are going to lighten up the fire with kisses and caresses to achieve the erection and the lubrication in order for the sexual parts to be connected, and the respiratory procedure that consists in inhalation, retention, and exhalation. This is going to give us as consequence the transmutation of matter into energy. That is the sexual transmutation, or ascending the energy of the Kundalini through our spinal cord to the superior centers that are the pituitary and pineal gland. So we are going to make it really graphical. We are going to show here how we are going to consciously direct our energy with the respiratory procedure. So this respiratory procedure is recommended to last 20 seconds inhalation, retention, and exhalation. But it depends on your respiratory capacity. With practice, your respiratory abilities will get better. So we are going to consciously direct the energy in the following way. We are going to inhale, get the energy through our lungs, and get it into the ovaries for women or the testicles for the man. This is the process of inhalation. Then comes the process of retention. The process of retention is taking the energy from the sexual glands, the ovaries or the testicles, through our spinal cord. We are going to pass through the coccyx. From the coccyx, we are going to ascend it all along the spinal cord until we get into the pituitary gland in the middle of our eyebrows. Then ends up the process of the retention and comes the process of exhalation, that is expelling the air. We are going to exhale with different mantras, each by one of them. For example, inhalation, retention, exhalation with the mantra. Then we are going to start again the respiratory procedure. Inhalation, retention, exhalation with the mantra. And then inhalation, retention, and exhalation with the mantra. We are going to do this mantralization once and over again, all along the sexual practice until the sexual practice finishes. How can we know that the sexual practice is over? When we lose the erection or the lubrication. That means that we already transmutated all the sexual creative energy and the practice is over. When should you practice this sexual transmutation? When you want to. It's only has the following conditions. You should do it, wait for the next practice 20 hours because the sexual glands need to be recharged. So we need to wait minimum 20 hours for the next sexual practice. This cannot be done in the process of menstruation, pregnancy, or lactancy because it's a process in which the human machine of the woman is not fit for doing the sexual practice. It's a crime against our Holy Spirit to do the practice in those moments. And we should wait minimum 2 hours to take a bath because we are energetically charged with that energy. Also, the purpose is ascending the energy to the superior centers of our human machines. So we are not going to spill it in orgasm or ejaculation. We are not going to do a fornication practice. It's going to be a sexual transmutation practice. So we are going to now talk about the psychological death. The psychological death will be the elimination of our psychological flaws, of each one of our 7 causal egos. They feed on our energy and then they maintain us, wasting our sexual creative energy that is manifested in thoughts, emotions, words, and actions. So they are mistaken in all the ways. Our mind is really fragmented. We are not the same all the time. We are divided in our different defects. In one moment I can be really nice, I can be flattering, in another moment I can be totally irrational, I can be violent, I can be rude. So I don't have the sacred individuality. What can I see in my inner world? I can see different thoughts, different talks between the egos when I'm thinking, when I am elaborating different speeches in my head, thinking how am I going to answer to someone that really pissed me off, the pleasant emotions that are when I feel really amused by something, but is something that is not real, the unpleasant emotions that is when my desires are not fulfilled, the moods, sometimes I don't feel like doing anything, I feel lazy, I feel that I just want to sleep and forget about everything. So mechanical reactions, insulting, being rude, losing my temper, all that alters us in any situation of the physical world. There are really unexpected situations and we don't know how to react to them, so we instinctively explode in the different moments that we don't observe what is happening inside ourselves. So the psychological death consists in the following: how to eliminate our ego. First of all, we gotta exercise the faculty of self-observation. It's going to direct consciously our attention and see what is it that I'm talking about, what is it that I'm feeling, what is it that I want to do. So I recognize what my egos are planning to do. I identify this is not from my conscious, this is something that is not useful, not truthful, and not fair. It's feeding on my mental energy, it's not leading me anywhere, and I am losing my will. I am losing that energy that I have to do something that is really profitable for my being. I understand that this makes me hurt people, that this hurts my being, that this has really awful consequences that I have experienced, and so I beg my Divine Mother, eliminate this ego. For instance, I'm gonna give an example. I notice that I always fight because I discuss with my father, for example, of intellectual things, and I see that ego steals my energy. I notice that I always want to contradict that person, that I want to argument, that I want to give different explanations, that I want to be really rational, that I want to see the things the way I want, and underestimate the thoughts of other people. For example, his thoughts. I want to despise him, I want to insult him, so that comes to the ego of violence, and so Divine Mother, eliminate me that ego of violence, that ego of argumenting, of losing the mental energy. Types of psychological death are going to be the ongoing death. The ongoing death is, for example, when you're walking in the street and you receive an impression, for instance, that you liked really a person because of the physical body, because the appearance of the eyes, of the hair, of the shape of the body. So you see that that is nothing that is real, that you have a couple, that you love your couple, that there is no reason to be distracted by the physical aspect of someone. So you beg Divine Mother, eliminate me this ego that fascinates with the external aspect of another person, for example, the ego of adultery. And the reflective meditation, that is taking a scene that you have lived and eliminating all that comes out in that moment. For example, that I fought with my couple, so I am going to remember what happened in that scene, that I shut the door in his face, that I told him that I wanted to go, that I got out of the house, all the moments that I lived there, and I'm going to identify the egos that manifested, the ego of anger, the ego of revenge, the ego of pride, and I am going to eliminate one by one. That is not in the moment, but when I have time to remember all the scene. And the last of all will be the sacrifice for humanity. That is sharing uninterestedly this knowledge with all mankind. You're going to do it with a lot of mysticism. That means that you're going to do it from your heart, with love, not expecting anything in return, not charging for this knowledge because it will be a business. So the conditions is that we must give it to everyone. We are not gonna make any distinction of social class, of age, of gender, of nationality. We are going to give this knowledge to everyone because everyone deserves to know how to self-realize their being. We must deliver it pure. We are not going to take any of the three factors because they are indispensable to work on our psyche. We are not going to remove or add anything because the way it is, it's pure. We know that we are going to work in the sexual practice with the Kundalini. We know that we are going to eliminate our flaws and that we are going to share this knowledge with all people because they all deserve to achieve their sacred individuality. So we're not going to mix this information because then people won't know how to self-realize their being. Here we have some reasons to sacrifice for humanity. The reason for the being is the same being. So we need to stop being selfish. Each of our ego have different reasons why not to do this job. So we need to get out of our comfort zone to thinking only about ourselves and just giving the possibility to people to awaken their conscience. A labor of love is fed with love. If you want to give something, you have to do it from your heart. Well, just not expecting to be recognized, to be thanked by anyone, just doing it because you want to give people the benefit that you received. Each ego has his own debt. For instance, I owe a lot of karma, so I need to pay with dharma. Dharma is consciously helping others to connect with their conscience of the wisdom of their being. When you give something, you receive. If I give love, I receive love. If I give wisdom, I receive wisdom. So in order to advance, I need to just give myself to others. The merits from the heart allow you to advance. You're only gonna have merits if you do something from your heart. If it's something that it's mystical, that it's really worth the effort and you did it because you wanted to share and you wanted people to get out of that misery internally that they are feeling. When a person teaches, that person learns. Every time you help others, your Father gives us knowledge in your inner world. we are gonna know that astrally, in the astral world, we are gonna learn from the people that we are teaching to. If we are teaching, we create a center of gravity around the esoteric work. That means that if you help people awaken their conscience, well, you're gonna keep receiving knowledge about how to awaken your conscience as well, and keep working in the three factors. So there are different forms to sacrifice for humanity. You have to explore it with a lot of creativity, not only giving the conferences as I'm doing right now, but you can do it in many ways, just sharing the knowledge with people, just helping people eliminate their psychological flaws, teaching them how to value the sacred creative energy that is our sexual energy, how to do the sexual transmutation practice, just talking to people. You can do it. You can be creative with that. You can invite your friends and family, your close people. Then you can start inviting strangers. You can start doing publicity like flyers, like posters, inviting to the conferences. You can do advertisings, campaigns, a lot of things that you want to from your heart, preparing yourself to dictate the conferences, giving introductions to people, just for them to know what knowledge is all about, dictating these conferences as well if you want to from your heart to do it, preparing the staff to continue teaching. You can prepare other people with the conference. This is the knowledge that this conference contains. Just study that, meditate on that, and you're going to transmit the wisdom of your being. Motivating people to practice the three factors, explaining the importance of those factors for the revolution of the conscience, and waking our conscience. That is the most important. You have to be constantly meditating, constantly eliminating your egos in order to connect with the wisdom of your being, and to be that wisdom, the force that impulses you on the practice of the three factors and the talking with people. Is going to be your being that is talking to the 3% of other people, of wisdom, justice, and love. So, well, this is the conference. I hope that it's really useful for you in the practice of the three factors, and give you all the energy and for you to keep practicing. And thank you for your attention. Bye.